What's going on? My name is Iceman. Welcome back to what's going to be Falcon 4.0 Allied Force. The other day we just played it I played it for the very first time in 14 years. Or 14, 13 years or so. And yeah, that was interesting. In these next parts, I'm gonna do it in parts because it's a lot. But I want to do all the training missions in Falcon 4.0 Allied Force. The only thing is, the training missions themselves do not have like a script that tells you what to do during it. So your only option to follow through with everything in the training missions is to read the manual and follow the manual as you're doing the training missions. So that's what I'm going to be doing. This first part is going to be just the first mission. We're going to do each mission in different parts. I'm going to separate each mission with a video. So first mission is basic handling. So chapter 1, learning how to fly. So I'm going to be going through the manual a little bit. I'm going to be skipping certain things, such as like this here. We don't need to read any of this. And let me zoom it in because I can't see shit. So we're not going to read any of this, or this. So, yeah. So, tactical reference about this manual. Some basic information on the styles using this manual. I should read this. Keyboard input is labeled like this. In this manual, the keys are related to the US UK keyboard layout. You note that keyboard layouts from other countries are different, so you might need to press a different key, then specify in the manual. If available, check the keyboard chart for your country, which you can find in the docs folder of your Falcon Allied Force installation. Tracking is all standard key instructions, key combinations. Text that appears on the screen is labeled like this. Audio responses are labeled like this. Okay. Right. So chapter 1, learning how to fly. So this is where we're starting. So this is basic handling. And now let me just say real quick that I'm going to be doing it slightly out of order. I'm going to be doing all the what's it called? I'm going to be doing all the so we have chapter 1 to chapter 8 is what we're going to be doing. It's 187 pages or whatever, so it's a lot. That's why I'm splitting it into parts. But what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to do all the non-combat stuff first. So like navigation and learning to turn and stuff like that. I'm going to be doing all the non-combat stuff first. So what we'll do is chapter 1 first, this video. Chapter 2 is learning to turn. Yeah, chapter 2 is learning to turn. And then chapter 3, so we're going to do the chapters, like one chapter per video, so, or maybe one mission per video. I'm not entirely sure yet. I'll probably do, because some of them will probably be pretty small, so I'm gonna do like one chapter per video. So this video is gonna be chapter 1, learning how to fly. Chapter 2 will be learning to turn. So the second video will be this. Chapter 3 will be the third video will be this, landing and navigation. And then we're going to skip 4 and 5 temporarily so that we can do air-to-air refueling. So we're going to go to chapter 6. We're going to go to chapter 6, air-to-air refueling. And then after that, we're going to backtrack, go to chapter 4, air-to-air weapons. Chapter 4 air-to-air weapons, then chapter 5 air-to-ground weapons, then 7 and 8 missile threat reaction, and then basic fighter maneuvers. Because in order to do basic fighter maneuvers, you need to be able to know how to do missile threat reaction just in case. So yeah, it's going to be a little bit out of order, but I don't know why air-to-air refueling is chapter 6. It shouldn't be. It should be like air-to-air refueling should be chapter 4. Then it should be chapter 5, chapter 6, and then chapter 7, chapter 7. Wait, what? Hold on. 1, 2, 3. Hold on. And then it should be chapter 4, chapter 5, chapter 6, chapter 7, chapter 8. That's what it should be. So that's how I'm structuring it. So it's going to be a little bit out of order. I'm just going to do landing and navigation after that. And then yeah. So I'm going to do the non-combat stuff first and then go to combat, because that's the fun stuff. Save the best for last, you know. Now, keep in mind, I pretty much know how to do all this stuff, you know, to basic amount. So I don't really need to do this training, but I figured I'm going to do it, so I might as well just record it, you know. That said, let's start with chapter 1, learning how to fly, page 7. Okay, so right, so chapter 1, learning how to fly, that's this video. So chapter 1. So that's the image there. So part 1 of this flight handbook consists of a number of training missions. The missions themselves are located in the training section of the game, and the mission descriptions and instructions are contained here in the manual. The missions are task-oriented to teach very specific skills. They provide all the instruction you will need to complete each learning objective, but there is one caveat. The training missions use a building block approach. If you try to fly one of the advanced missions without first learning the skill sets from the earlier missions, you may have difficulty. Now, you will have difficulty if you don't do that. Overview. These training missions are designed to teach you how to fly the F-16 in the same way as a real F-16 pilot is to fly his jet. Falcon Allied Force is the most realistic flight simulation ever built. Well, at the time it was, and features scalable levels of difficulty to aid new pilots. The skills and knowledge required to use the F-16 systems are not easy to learn and will take time and effort to master. For this reason, it's suggested that you follow this step-by-step training regimen. Training mission setup. All of these training missions assume a specific setup. Please follow these instructions for all of the 30 training missions. Okay, so number 1, select setup from the main menu. Number 2, select the simulation tab at the top of the window. So that's simulation. 3, select ACE from the skill level option. This will set the flight model, avionics, weapons effects, autopilot, air refueling, and padlocking to the proper options. The only thing I won't do is padlocking realistic. That's the only thing I won't do. I'll just keep it enhanced. Number 4, on the right hand side of the window, turn labels on by clicking in the box. Note that the skill level changes to veteran. So labels on. Number 5, click the graphics tab at the top of the window. Number 6, make your graphics selections based on your processor, video card, available RAM, etc. See chapter 16, set up and recommended settings. I'm not going to do that. Also, by the way, I changed my controls a little bit. I'll go into that later when we actually get in the sim. But I checked the... Oh wow, there's not even a keys option. It's just controls. That's interesting. Probably because it's patch 1 or just the regular version, the raw version or whatever. Right, so how to load a training mission. To load it, and forgive my text guys. To load a training mission, first click the training from the main menu. The list of training missions will then appear. Click on the training mission you want to start, click the commit button in the bottom right hand corner. Under mission schedule on the next screen, the training mission will be selected, and you will see the default name, Second Lieutenant Joe Pilot, next to an aircraft icon. If you have previously created a pilot in the logbook, you will see the name you created instead. Click the fly icon in the bottom right hand corner to start the training mission. Freeze mode. Not going to use it because I would find that cheating. You can always press Shift Popper at any time during the training mission to freeze the game. Unlike the regular pause mode, P key, freezing the game lets you operate all the F-16 avionics and instruments, most notably the radar. Note that the mission clock keeps ticking in freeze mode. If you are supposed to be at a specific location at a specific time, the time you spend in freeze mode counts against you. So, that's just basics. So mission 1, basic aircraft handling. So that's what we're going to be doing here, okay? So the first mission, so this video is going to be basic aircraft handling. So everything in chapter 1, basically. So basic aircraft handling, and then probably mission 2, then 3, or whatever. So mission 1, basic aircraft handling. That's the image there. The objective of this mission is to learn how to control the F-16. When you complete this mission, you will have a feel of how the fighter responds to controls and what it can do. There's no point taking a multi-million-dollar aircraft up against the bad guys if you can't control the jet. This mission is the first in a series of aircraft handling training missions patterned after the Air Force's real F-16 training syllabus. Oh shit, I didn't know that. In the real syllabus, this sortie is called TR-1, or Transition Sortie 1. Keep in mind, however, that when a pilot first starts to fly the F-16, he or she already knows how to fly other jets. Since you may be an experienced real-life pilot or a 3-year-old who has accidentally hit the wrong icon, we're going to take it slow and start at the very basics. If you've seen all this before, move on to the next mission. Again, I don't need any of these missions, but I mean, I might need like some of the detail in some of them, but to get me back up to speed. But controlling the plane of Falcon Allied Force and the real F-16 is really not very difficult. Fighting in the jet, however, is another matter. Modern fighters like the F-16 are doomed to fly, but devilishly hard to fight in. Today's fighters barrage the pilot with information which, when combined with increased speed, creates a tempo of air combat that is close to the limits of human capability. Along with the challenge of sense of fusion and tempo, modern fighters also feature a violent high-G environment. G-force is the force that acts on the jet when it turns. And technically, it's the force acting on anything at all times. It's like the old example of swinging a bucket of water on the end of a rope. The water stays in the bucket because the force of the force pressing the water towards the outside of the arc. The G-force on an aircraft is essentially the same thing, except greater in magnitude. The G-forces of modern air combat would turn the fighters of old into kindling or paper clips. The fighter pilots of yore, of course, faced challenges of their own. Their primary challenge was the sheer difficulty of just flying their aircraft. Older aircraft were simply a lot harder to fly than the F-16. Skills such as flying an F-88 close to its maneuvering limit, manual bombing in the F-105, and marksmanship in a P-51 demanded great flying skill. The F-16, in contrast, has a flight control computer, or FCC, that limits Gs, it's called the G limiter, and other critical flight parameters to help keep the pilot out of trouble. In addition, the F-16 fire control computer puts the bombs on the target. In general, the F-16 is just easier to fly. This doesn't mean that pilot has to sit back and just press a button occasionally. There are challenges aplenty, and like any aircraft landing, is going to keep you busy. Since Falcon Allied Force flies like the real jet, it should be relatively easy to fly. Just because flying the jet is easy, however, does not mean it is effortless or that there is no learning curve. This mission will help you master flying so that you can go on to the more complex and demanding air combat tasks. We will also cover a few displays and instruments that are also shown in other parts of this manual. Everything you need to fly this mission will be presented here. HUD basics, I already know this, but we're gonna go through the HUD here. Beginning the training mission by selecting so the first training mission, number 1, basic handling. Under the training section, press the commit button. In the next screen, press fly. Once in 3D world, press shift popper to freeze the game while you look around the cockpit. I'm not going to bother, to be honest. Falcon Allied Force features several views, but we will start with the cockpit. Press 2 on the top row of the keyboard to make sure you're in the 2D cockpit view. This cockpit not only looks exactly like the real F-16 cockpit, but also features the same functionality. The most obvious cockpit feature is the HUD, head-up display. The HUD is located at the top of the cockpit and is by far the most useful of all cockpit displays. Here is a list of the parts labeled in figure 1-1 and what they're used for in the HUD. Now there's some other stuff here it doesn't say, but we'll get to that later if the training missions go into that. I hope they do. So figure 1-1. So you've got the flight path marker, or FPM, which is right here. So it's not, there's a little like half circle. It looks like a half circle inside. That's not what we're looking at. We're looking at the circle with the dash here, and dash above. So that's what we're looking at. So this little icon right here, it's kind of hard to see because technically the tadpole is inside of it, so it's kind of a bad image. But so flight path marker. The flight path marker is the most important indicator on the HUD. This symbol shows the pilot the jet's flight path or vector. So it's called the flight path marker, but it really should be called flight path vector. It would be a better name for it. So that there. If you use your joystick to place the flight path marker on a point over the ground and hold it there, the jet will impact the ground on that exact spot. That's why I term it the flight path vector. Hopefully, you won't be doing that very often. The flight path marker can be used in a very similar way to fly to a precise point on a runway. The F-16 can be flown in level flight or precise climbs and dives using the flight path marker. So the gun cross. Gun cross is that there. The gun cross is the small cross symbol at the top of the HUD. It's an important reference since it represents where the nose of the aircraft is pointing. There's a difference in where the aircraft is pointing and the direction the aircraft is moving. So when the aircraft moves, it's moving towards the flight path marker or flight path vector, but where it's pointing is actually the gun cross. There's a difference between where the aircraft is pointing and the direction where the aircraft is moving. The angle of attack, or AOA, indicates the difference in vertical degrees, nose up or down, between the gun cross, where the aircraft is pointing, like I said, and the flight path marker, where the aircraft is going, right here. The difference between the gun cross, the nose of the aircraft, difference between this and the flight path marker is a measure of your current angle of attack. So the angular difference between this gun cross and this flight path marker is your current angle of attack. The pitch ladder provides a level flight reference along with the reference. So the pitch ladder is this here. So you got 5 and these upside down staples here. Well, actually, it's a regular staple. So you got 5, and this is the pitch ladder. You also got the horizon line, and you got dashed pitch ladder down here. So you get a better picture here. So you have the dashed pitch ladder. And pro tip, well, this is 5 degrees. This is 5 degrees, 10 degrees, nose down. Pro tip, a way you can tell if you're inverted is this part, the dashed staples will be at the top, above your horizon line. And if that happens, then you're inverted. The pitch ladder provides a level flight reference along with a reference for climbs and descents. The long solid horizontal line in the middle of the HUD is the 0 degree pitch line. So like I said right here, these two lines, this line here and this line here. It can be easily differentiated from the other pitch ladder lines because there is no number associated with it. The dashed pitch ladder lines show descents in 5 degree increments, while the solid lines show climbs. So like I just said, dashed is descent, solid is climb. The airspeed scale, let's see, okay. The airspeed scale is on the left side of the HUD. So airspeed scale is this here. Here's the scale and here's the number. Okay. So airspeed scale is right here. left side of the hood. Since this scale shows airspeed, 400 means that you're going at 400 knots, nautical miles per hour. So this is not 400 knots, this is 330 knots. So all 330 nautical miles per hour. The airspeed scale has a C letter next to the tick mark, which stands for calibrated airspeed. So the C is really hard to see, but it's really hard. The C is hard to see. See what I did there? The Charlie letter is right there. It's hard to see, but that means this is calibrated airspeed. The altitude scale is on the right side of the hood. So this is the altitude scale right here, and this is the current altitude. And also this is your radar altitude. So it's different than your barometric altitude. This is your barometric or mean sea level. This is above your ground level or AGO. Okay, the altitude scale is on the right side of the hood. The scale usually shows the aircraft altitude in hundreds of feet above sea level, also called MSL, mean sea level. So that's what I just said. The scale shows altitudes in thousands of feet normally. So if the scale shows 16, 16,0. So 16,0. That is 16,000 feet above sea level. When you get, quote, down in the weeds, below 1,200 feet from the ground, the altimeter changes to a different altitude display in the hood. The scale, when that happens, shows hundreds of feet. When the sliding bar is next to 2. What? Oh wait, hundreds of feet. When the sliding bar is next to 2, you are 200 feet above the ground. So the sliding bar, I'm not sure what they're talking about here, but oh yeah, look, 7,0, so that's 7,000 feet. The scale shows hundreds of feet. When the sliding bar is next to 2, you are 200 feet above the ground. So there's a sliding, it's not visualized here, but I guess there'll be a sliding bar. I haven't really, sliding bar, yeah. Okay, so you'll have like a bar that goes up here and kind of here, and it slides up and down to the left of the tape. And when it's next to the number 2, so you'll see 2 like here or whatever, you are 200 feet above the ground. So basically, keep in mind that this is the ground directly underneath your jet, not the ground that's in front of you. As you climb and get above 1,500 feet above ground level, the scale goes back to the normal sea level scale. There's an indicator next to the altitude readout that shows B, or Bravo, when the barometric altimeter is being used, mean sea level display. So, well, this is automatic, so I don't think it'll show, but it'll show like Bravo somewhere. I don't remember where exactly, but it'll show Bravo. Show Bravo when the barometric altimeter is being used, and an R, Romeo letter, when the radar altimeter is in use, above ground level display. Additionally, you'll get the Bravo when the radar altimeter is switched off, or when your jet is not reasonably parallel to the ground. Bravo when the radar altimeter is... Okay. So if you go on your HUD panel and turn off the radar altimeter, then... So if you turn off your radar altimeter, then you'll get a Bravo, so indicating that it's mean sea level the whole way. But if it's not, then or when your jet's not parallel to the ground, so basically like if you're in a bank or something and it's, you're on an 90-degree bank and the radar altimeter just goes infinitely and in one direction and it can't get a return, then yeah, you'll get a B as well. The heading scales at the bottom of the HUD. The heading scale at the bottom of the HUD shows aircraft heading. The scale simply shows aircraft heading in degrees. A heading of 270 would be 270 degrees. So this is the heading scale here, 200 degrees. The HUD G meter in the top left corner of the HUD shows current G forces acting on the jet, whereas the G meter at the bottom left corner of the HUD, just above the nav symbol, shows the maximum G force you have pulled so far during a given flight. See Chapter 25 Aerodynamics and G forces for detailed explanation of G forces. We're not going to get into that, but this is your current G, this is your max G, and this is your Mach. And by the way, figure 1-2, this is that angle of attack difference in degrees between the gun cross and the flight path marker that I was telling you about before. Flight path marker there, gun cross there. HUD control options. And by the way, this is actually taking quite a long time, so what I'm going to do is actually just do... I'm going to split each mission up by video. So not like chapters. So I'm not going to, this is taking a while. So HUD control options. Figure 1-1 shows all the various indicators on the HUD display code up. All the various indicators, so this here, which is the way you normally fly in both Falcon Allied Force and the Wheel F-16. Not all fighter pilots use the HUD the same way. You can configure HUD displays to your needs just as the real pilots do. Press H, or Hotel, to change the scales of the HUD. First time you press H, it will remove the analog scales, leaving the digital readouts of the altitude. So what it would do is get rid of the scales and just leave like 7500 and 330 and 200. Leaving digital readouts of the altitude, speed, and heading. The second time the analog scales come back, but left to the altitude scale, you would see an angle of attack indicator. Additionally, the readout of the heading scale changes. Press H a third time to return to the default HUD display. Okay, that's kind of confusing. I'm never gonna do that. But basically, what it's saying, the second time you press it, the analog scales come back, but you also see an AOA indicator to the left of the altitude. So here, I guess. I don't remember what it was. Second time I just come back to the altitude aim indicator. Yeah, I don't know where that is, where that would be, but I'm never going to use that, so it's whatever. Additionally, the readout of the heading scale changes. Press H a third time to turn the full HUD display. Press Shift, Control, Alt plus Charlie to change the HUD color. Since the ground can be colored green, this option can be very useful. This option is not available in the real jet. Real F-16 HUDs are only green. So I'm not even going to use that. Press Shift, Control, Alt plus S to modify the appearance of the heading scale. Shift, Control, Alt plus Popper changes the pitch ladder and flight path marker. The HUD displays a lot of other information related to weapons uses, and we'll talk more about HUD displays like diamonds and timing cues in the training missions to come. Basic cockpit instruments. We should discuss a number of cockpit instruments and displays before getting airborne. Make sure you're in the 2D cockpit view shown in figure 1-3. So figure 1-3 here. So the ADI, or Attitude Director Indicator, provides an artificial horizon and an aircraft symbol so you can tell the attitude or orientation of the aircraft relative to the Earth. So that's the ADI right here. It's basically your backup, but, to the HUD. The airspeed indicator shows the aircraft's airspeed in hundreds of knots. And your Mach is in this little window here, but this is what it is here. Airspeed indicator. When the needle is on the 4, you're going 400 knots. So when it's on the 4 right here, you're going 400 knots. The altimeter shows the MSO altitude above sea level, or mean sea level. So altitude indicator here of the aircraft on the round dial. So it is only barometric. The digital readout on the inside of the dial shows the altitude in feet. The white needle on the dial displays the hundreds of feet of the current altitude. For example, when your aircraft is between 10,000 and 1,000 feet, and the needle is positioned on the 8, you are 10,800 feet altitude, mean sea level. That's basically what that means is this is the hundreds of feet dial, and this is, you know, the digital readout. So basically, the white note on the dial is 100 feet of the current altitude. Digital readout shows the altitude in feet. So it shows the actual altitude. So this is currently 30,500 feet is what that is. Figure 1-4. What is this figure 1-4 for? I don't see anything there. Figure 1-4, okay. The AOA indicator, so this here, figure 1-4 alpha, is a tape that shows the angle of attack of the aircraft. In order to generate lift, the jet needs to have a positive angle of attack or fly at a positive angle into the relative wind, or airflow. The F-16 has a limiting angle of attack of 25 degrees positive and 5 degrees negative limit. Remember that the angle of attack is the angular difference between the gun cross and the flight path marker. Figure 1-4 and 1-4 alpha. So this one here and this one here shows angle of attack both in the hood and on the gauge. So this is the angle of attack here, as seen on the hood, and then the angle of attack is 0.5. It's 1, so like 1.5, 0.015 or whatever it is, 0.15 or something, I don't know. But it's a little bit upward. So flight path of the aircraft shown in the HUD by the flight path marker. Longitudinal axis is the aircraft shown in the HUD by the gun cross. So the aircraft is pointing this way, but is actually traveling in this direction. Okay. The HSI, or Horizontal Situation Indicator, is a very complex gauge we will cover in Training Mission 12. For now, all you need to know about the HSI is that it can be used to indicate aircraft heading. The round moving dial on the HSI shows north, south, east, west. So NSEW for north, south, east, and west. When the aircraft turns, the dial moves to indicate the change in aircraft heading. So they're saying, so you got the altitude, you have the backup ADI. See, they talk about that. No, they don't. Okay, so the backup ADI, so you have a ADI here, but you have a backup ADI here, and then you have the HSI where they're talking about here. So basically, this little arrow here, so you're currently going north, basically north, almost northeast, but you're going north-northeast with this. The RPM gauge on the right upper console shows the revolutions per minute of the turbine blades at the core of the engine. Well, it's right here, but you can't see it. The RPM is shown as a percentage, with 100% being the fastest the engine can go, and 0% being an engine that is not turning at all. 70% is idle power. RPM is directly tied to throttle position, which controls how much thrust the engine produces. Training mission overview. So this is where we're getting to the actual, this was kind of like the theory, but this is more like about the actual mission that we're going to be doing. Training mission overview. This mission starts with the F-16 in the air. You go in this mission to get used to flying the jet and using the keyboard to control your various views. Initial conditions. So the airspeed is going to be 400 knots, altitude is going to be 7,500 feet, mean sea level, and level. Throttle setting is mid-range. Mission description. Press shift popper to freeze the game. I'm not going to do that because it's cheating. While we are frozen, let's go through the different view options. To access the views by pressing the number keys at the top of the keyboard. Press 1 to switch to HUD only view. Not going to do that. Multifunction displays, MFDs are the boxes visible at the top, bottom or top of the display. Change the MFD displays pressing a left bracket for left MFD, right bracket for the right MFD, shift left bracket for the top left MFD, shift right bracket for the top right MFD. I don't know what the fuck they're talking about here, because there's only 2 MFDs in the F-16, so I'm not sure what they're talking about, but press 2 to put you back in the default 2D cockpit view. This view is mouseable, which means that you can use the mouse to flip switches, turn dials, and move around the cockpit. There are 3 kinds of mouse pointers that you use in the 2D cockpit. The red diamond indicates that you cannot interact with the cockpit dial, cockpit control or dial. The green circle means you can interact with the cockpit control or dial by flipping a switch, etc. The green arrow means you can click to change your 2D cockpit view to look left, right, etc. Press 3 to enter the 3D or virtual cockpit. In virtual cockpit, use the hat switch on your joystick or press the arrow keys on the numeric keypad to move your view around the cockpit. Holding down the right mouse button and moving the mouse pans the view smoothly as well. This view is very important because it is very useful in air combat and in maintaining your situational awareness, or SA. Situational awareness is understanding where you are in relation to the world around you and understanding where threats are in relation to you. Practice using the virtual cockpit while the simulation is in freeze mode. Hold down left or right arrows, note that the view is stopped near the ejection seat. Since you cannot see past the ejection seat in the real F-16, Falcon Allied Force has the same view limitation. You will hear a banging sound of your helmet hitting the headrest when you reach that limit. If you want to rotate your head, the view to the other side of the cockpit, press left or right on the numeric keypad again, and you will move the view to the other side of the cockpit. Press Alt tilde to access the satellite view, which is an overhead view of the world. To get a closer look at the world, press Lima. Press Lima again to return to normal view. You can also press 1 and 7 on the numeric keypad to zoom the view closer in or further out. Falcon Allied Force has additional views, but they will not be needed in this mission. So, basically doing the views and stuff, I'm going to actually change some of my controls temporarily before we actually fly, because I have my main hat switch to the like DMS, so display management switch and shit like that. So I have that there, but I'm gonna need to switch it to like, moving the view left, right, up, down. Bring up the 2D cockpit by pressing 2. Press Shift Pop again to unfreeze the game. Set the RPM gauge on the right console to 85% by using the throttle on your joystick, or press plus or minus to set the throttle. So that's the second thing we're going to do. And then set the RPM gauge. 4 is, figure 1-5. So we're going to turn right and turn left. So I don't know what we're doing this for. Move your joystick left to start an easy left turn. Bank the wings to tilt the world about 60 degrees. And then pull back on the stick to G meter reads 2.0. Figure 1-5 shows how to move your joystick and then get the turn started. Notice that when the wings are banked, the jet will turn or change heading. In the 2D cockpit view, you can watch the HUD's heading scale move, and you will see aircraft bank on the ADI. To keep the aircraft in level flight, ensure the flight path markers on the 0-degree pitch line of the HUD. Do this by gently pulling back on the joystick until you get the flight path marker where you want it. So you want the flight path marker here on the horizon line. To keep a level flight. Figure 1-6 shows the flight path marker on the level or 0-degree pitch line. Practice making level turns. Practice making level turns to the right or left. Turn on the smoke by pressing Control Sierra. I'm not going to do that. To trace your path through the sky. Use satellite view or tilde key to watch your turns from outside the aircraft. When you are done, return to straight and level flight. Bank opposite to the direction you are turning until the HUD 0-degree line is horizontal. So this line is horizontal. It's like going this way. Then move the flight path marker into the horizontal line so the flight path marker align with the 0-degree line on the HUD. So you want to be straight and level. Figure 1-6 is here. Next, we will practice climbs and descents. To climb, align the HUD flight path marker with the 5-degree pitch line. So we're going to put the flight path marker here. Okay, there's no... Okay. Notice that the aircraft starts to climb and both the cockpit and HUD altimeters show increasing numbers and that your airspeed decreases. If you're not climbing, add more power. In addition, the movement of your flight path marker lags slightly behind your control inputs. After climbing 1,000 feet, level off for a few seconds by aligning your flight path marker with the level line. Notice that your altitude remains constant with the flight path marker on the 0-degree pitch or level line. Number 8. Practice the descent by pushing the joystick gently forward. Do so until the flight path marker is aligned with the negative 5-degree pitch line. So it'll be right here. Your altitude should now decrease and your airspeed will increase. You must always manage your energy when flying. Climbs trade airspeed for altitude, whereas descents trade altitude for airspeed. After descending 1,000 feet, level off by placing the flight path marker on the HUD level line. After accomplishing level turns and some straight ahead climbs, start combining turns and climbs together. For example, make a level turn until you're flying due west, or 270 on your heading tape. When you're heading west, start a climbing turn until you're flying due east, or 090 on the HUD heading tape. Try to climb 2,000 feet precisely. Set up parameters of your own to practice maneuvering the jet precisely. Yep. Next, try doing level turns at low altitude, which is flying below 1,000 feet above ground level. During these maneuvers, experiment with different HUD altitude options: auto, barometric, and radar. Switch between these modes by switching to the lower right console. Press 2 times 6. Press 6 and 2. Wait, what? Press 6 2 times and 2 once in the 2D cockpit view. The HUD control panel on this console next to the control stick is a 3-way toggle switch that's selects the HUD altitude options. Make sure you know which way your aircraft is going while you're looking down your cockpit. It's easy to crash when you're close to the ground and not looking outside. Slow speed awareness. The next series of maneuvers that we're going to practice are called HARTs, which stands for That was super weird. My headset died. Like it died or it lost connection. Slow speed awareness, which was a horn awareness recovery training. These maneuvers are used to train the pilot to recognize and recover from a nose-high altitude. When the jet is above 45 degrees nose high and the airspeed goes below 170 knots, the low speed hold comes on. Actually, it is a combination of high pitch, nose relative to the horizon, and airspeed. Figure 1-7 shows the low speed warning horn chart used by the F-16. You don't have to memorize the chart, just be aware that if you get nose high and slow, the horn will come on. Chart degrees, dash lines indicate the airspeed tolerance for low speed warning tone activation, figure 1-7. So that's the chart there. Use the following steps to practice HART maneuvers. Number 1, climb to 15,000 feet and level off. Set the throttle to 85%. Pull hard back on the stick and start an easy 5G to 7G pull up straight ahead. So set the flight path marker at 70 degrees nose high using the HUD pitch ladder. Since the flight path marker will lag the gun cross, use the gun cross initially to set your pitch. The flight path marker will catch up with the gun cross when the AOA is reduced. The AOA initially will be high because you're pulling G's, but it will come back down as you ease the pull to set your pitch angle at 70 degrees. Figure 1-8 is the climb. So figure 1-8, 70 degree climb for the HART maneuver. So 70 degrees, that's what you want. The horn will come on at about 170 knots. When you hear the horn, start a roll to inverted flight. Make sure you roll the aircraft slowly to avoid losing control. Stop the roll when you're upside down. You can tell you're upside down by looking at the HUD pitch scales. When the vertical legs connected to the ends of the pitch bars are pointed up, then you're inverted. Once the jet is inverted, start a smooth pullback on the joystick to get your nose down below the horizon. Once the nose of the jet is below the horizon, stop pulling on the joystick. Let the nose fall through the horizon. Keep the jet inverted, upside down. 5. When the airspeed gets to 150 to 200 knots, roll the jet upright and start and start a 3G to 4G pull to a level flight. When the flight path marker is on the 0 degree pitch line. We'll do all this stuff so you can actually see what it looks like. Number 6, try the exact same procedures, except this time pull the nose of the jet up to 90 degrees nose high. Use the orbit view, number 0 key, to watch how the aircraft performs at very low airspeeds. The only thing of doing it with 90 degrees nose high is you have to be super careful because you'll be at so slow airspeed you can get into a deep stall, which can be super dangerous. This first training mission will help you practice controlling the jet using basic cockpit and HUD symbology. When you have turns, climbs, and the HART maneuvers down pat, move on to the next mission. So this is mission 2 takeoff. We'll do this in the next video because, it's long enough. I'm not going to be able to look at this when I fly, so I'm going to actually look it up on my phone so that I can reference it. Alright, so I got it. So let's start Falcon 4.0. So what I need to do first is go to setup. That's another thing. I didn't realize that I actually had my resolution set to 16-bit, so I turned it to 32-bit. So hopefully it's better. That's what it looks like. Alright, so we should have everything. So we should be good. So training, basic handling, first thing we're doing here. Okay, so free flight without threats to allow you to get used to handling the F-16, NATO. Okay, don't know where we're starting, but basic handling. Alright, so let's do it. Fly. This better work. There we go. Okay, there we go. There we go. That's what I want. We can move the camera. Alright, so first thing I need to do. Oh, damn it. Throttle to 85% or RPM to 85%. So it's close. It's around there. Okay, so maybe just 60% easy left turn, bank the wings, 60% pullback and stick to G meter means 2. Okay. 60 pullback to the G meter means 2. Just like that. There's a left turn. So that's a left turn. Out. And then, right, so let's do a turn to the right. Just like that. So there's a turn. And now we're going to do alright, so I'm going to climb 1,000 feet. So we're 7,400, so we're going to go 8,400. So we're going to go to 5 degrees. A little bit of power. 1, 2, 3, 4. Kind of screw that up a little bit, but let's do a turn back. So this is basic handling. I forgot to turn invulnerability on. I'm going to do that for the next flight. Nice. So just fly in there. And then So I'm going to do a descent, gently forward to the... Okay, so -5, descending 1,000 feet. Okay, so... Alright, let's descend. So we did that. And then we're going to do... let's see. To combine turns and climbs together. So make a lever turn. So we're going to go north. So this is turn. Lever turn to the north. So we're going north. Okay, when you're heading west, start climbing, turn to flying to east. So I'm not going to do that, I'm just going to do north to east. So, right, so I'm going to try to turn to the right to 090 and do a climbing turn and climb to 2,000 feet. I kind of screwed that up a bit, but trying to do it precisely, but it's tough. 9,500 feet. Let's do a descending turn to 7,500 feet. Better. Better. Let's do a climbing turn to the left to 9,500 feet. To 270. It's definitely tricky. Let's do one more descending turn to the right to 7,500 feet. Better. Not bad. Alright, so... Not bad. So, the last thing we need to do is low-level turns. Let's see. Level turns at low altitude, flying below 1,000 feet above ground level. These maneuvers experiment with different high altitude options. And then slow speed awareness. So, alright, so we're gonna do level turns at low altitude. So we're gonna go below 1,000 feet above ground level. Let's do a turn. So we're going to make it tough and go 500 feet. See, that is that scale is coming down. So we're 500 feet now. 500 feet. So level 10. So 500 feet-ish. So let's turn right. Not bad. See something? Yeah, okay, I wanted to test that. The radar, see if it was implemented properly. Alright, so let's try to turn to the left to 180. 500 feet, let's go. I'm at 800 feet, that's terrible. Absolutely terrible. This does not look like 800 feet. There we go. Alright, so 500 feet. You know what, let's make it easy and do 1,000 feet. Easier, a little bit easier and do 1,000 feet. There's 1,000. Alright, level turn to 090, let's go. Not bad. Not bad at all. Let's go north. Alright, let's go back here. Slow speed awareness. So we're doing the slow speed awareness training here. It's the last little bit for this video. Alright, slow speed awareness. Horn awareness recovery training. Alright, use the following steps to practice heart maneuver. Okay, so climb to 15,000 feet and level off, set the throttle at 85%. Okay, 15,000 feet, level off, let's go. This thing climbs quick. Almost there. So 50,000 feet. Good. Alright. Set the throttle to 85%. Pull hard back on the stick, start easy 5 to 7G pull up straight ahead. Set the 5 marker 70 degrees nose high. So 70 degrees, 5 to 7G. Okay. Alright, horn will come on 70 knots. When you hear the horn, start the roll to the inverted flight. Should they roll out the craft slowly? Let's do 150. And the airspeed, wait, 250. Alright, 70 degrees nose high, 5 to 7G, pull up, for 85%. So throttle 85. Let's go down to 15,000. Alright, so let's do it. So 5 to 7 degrees, or 5 to 7 Gs, let's do it. Damn. Pull back. Did it. Nice. I almost right back at 15,000. Nice. Let's go down again. Alright, so 85, nice. Ready guys? Let's do it. 3, 2, 1. Dude, that was perfect. Holy shit. Right at 15,000. See what it looks like on the outside. Let's actually do the, yeah. Let's see what it looks like on the outside. Double turn. Actually, I'm not even going to do that, but let's see what it looks like on the outside if I do this. Actually, let me test something real quick. If I do cut 3, so it's the wrong one, so this configure's wrong.
Caution.
Yeah. Yeah, better. Alright, so it's implemented. Okay. Let me get to where it's supposed to be. See from the side. Are you ready? Alright. It's 15.5, but that's okay. Let's do it. AOA. It's shown with pitch. No, it does not. Let's do it. That's about 70 degrees right there, probably. Bad. Not bad. We're gonna do one more regular and then do one straight up. That's the last thing we need to do, I think. Alright. One more regular one, and then we're gonna do one 90 degrees straight up. Okay. Alright, here we go. So 85. Good. Right, let's do it. Nice. Alright, so we're gonna do one straight up. Let me get some airspeed. Actually, let's do one from the wing, so we can see it from the wing's angle. Like wing and, you know. We'll do it at 14. Let's go up. I kind of fucked up doing that. Nice. Get some airspeed and do one. Do one straight up. Lower some pitch so I can get some airspeed here. Be at like 400 knots. Are you ready? Let's do it. 70 degrees all the way to 90. It's going to be dangerous. It could induce a deep stall, so we've got to be careful. Not bad. That was fun. We'll do one more. We'll do one more and we'll do it, let's see. we'll do it like over the top. So we're gonna do it like we're gonna go to 90 and then pull back on the stick when yank back on the stick when we need to recover, and we'll just basically do like a loop. Actually, no, we're not going to do that because that's not part of the maneuver. We'll do that as a bonus. So we'll do one more, you know, the way we're supposed to, and then third one. Third one, we'll do that bonus. So let's go. So slow, oh my god. We recovered. Nice. This time we'll go over the top and just kind of do a loop. But it's going to be super dangerous. At the right, yep. Fucking hell. Should get the camera right. There you go. Alright, let's do it. That was super dangerous. I almost got into a deep stall there. But we did it. We did it, guys. By the way, you can do a flyby. Let's do burn, do a turn. Dope. So that's the basic handling, guys. We did it. Let's do a roll for victory. Not bad. Alright guys, I'm gonna end the video here. So that's all for this part. That's all for the that's all for mission 1. Mission 2 is like take off and ramp start and shit like that, so I already know how to do that, but we're gonna go through it anyways next video. So that being said, that's all for this vid. So that's all for this part, guys. If you liked it, smash that button like a badass, leave a comment. I'll see you guys next time. Farewell.